Let's turn now to state politics. Daniel Andrews has rejected accusations his private office interfered with Labor MPs during an independent parliamentary inquiry into witness welfare. Our Victorian political reporter Simon Love joins us live from Melton in Melbourne's outer west, where the Premier has been this morning. Simon, just give us the background to this story and what the Premier's had to say about it.
Morning, Ash. Well, all of this surrounds the minority report which Sky News revealed yesterday from the Integrity and Oversight Committee. The full report's now been tabled in Victorian Parliament, and it relates to an investigation into witness welfare following the suicide of City of Casey councillor Amanda Stapleton. Now, that committee was actually questioning the IBAC Commissioner Robert Redlich, the state's anti-corruption watchdog, when the chair of that committee, Harriet Shing, requested that the feed be cut when he was being quizzed about whether Daniel Andrews was giving testimony to IBAC in private hearings. Ultimately, that was a fact that was later revealed. Now, in that minority report which Sky News revealed, the accusation was levelled at the Premier's private office that it directed Labor MPs on that committee throughout its deliberations. But this is something that I put to Premier Daniel Andrews this morning, and he has vehemently denied this accusation.
Did anyone in the Premier's private office direct Labor MPs on the Integrity and Oversight Committee in regards to the testimony of IBAC Commissioner Robert Redlich?
No, parliamentary committees operate well-established rules, so no. And I would just say I'm not really interested in getting into a political game about this. As I understand it, some of this work relates to a person who took their life, who was a witness, and I'm just not going to get into political games about that. There's a minority report not written by an independent agency. It's written by Liberal Party members of Parliament, I think. So, again, I'm just not going to get into a debate about what was a tragic matter, and I think I've answered your question.
And Ash, that majority report has been tabled this morning. It has 16 recommendations to improve witness welfare. It also recommends changes to the IBAC ACT here in Victoria so that the agency needs to report in special reports as to what exceptional circumstances are for public hearings for witnesses to go before. This is an interesting debate, given that amid the introduction of a NAC, a National Anti-Corruption Commission, this very same question over public and private hearings is being debated in federal parliament at the moment.
Simon, it looks like transport is the theme of the election campaign today. What are both parties actually pledging on that front?
Both parties going to the extreme lengths of metropolitan Melbourne today. Labor out here in Melton, in Melbourne's outer northwest. It's seen as a target seat for Labor. The Liberals are on their way to Casey, down in the city's southeast. And here, the Premier pledged an upgrade to the Melton rail line, with locals here saying that it's something that's really been neglected by government for many years, as well as the removal of 4 level crossings. But something that the Premier really wouldn't completely put a promise on was the electrification of this rail line. Here was Daniel Andrews' reasoning on that and why his promise from 2018 hasn't been enacted.
This is part of taking the next step to electrify the line. You can't electrify this line until you've finished Geelong and create the space. We have always had a logic and a sequence to the work that we've done. Get rid of the level crossings, buy and build new trains, upgrade power and signalling, upgrade track, extend track. All of this has to be done in a logical way.
One person watching the Premier's press conference after he heard that this was on was the independent candidate out here in Melton, Ian Birchall.
It's far more than public transport in Melton. When you come to Melton, it's like going to a land that time forgot. We miss out on everything. We don't have a TAFE, a university. Our roads are really crap, and our rail system's been horrible.
And at 12 noon Eastern, Matthew Guy is going to be pledging a $1 billion electrification and extension of the Cranbourne rail line. That's in Melbourne's southeast, all the way to the booming growth suburb of Clyde. So, Ash, this marks a small departure from the main theme of the election campaign so far, which has been health.
Simon Love live there for us with an update from the Victorian election campaign trail. Thank you for that.